And then there were 5. I'm afraid Sri Lanka was saying goodbye to the Asia Cup. 137 runs against Bangladesh, 91 runs against Afghanistan. It pains me enormously to see a team that has produced so many wonderful cricketers over the years, just not on the park. I mean, you could see the cricketers there, but they were just not on the park. So Sri Lanka, the first team to exit this Asia Cup. Simon Doull is here. He had said 240, and that prediction was right. Joy was speaking to his travel agent. Sadly, that was right too.
No, I tell you.
Even if he's never ever going to get you a visa for Sri Lanka.
Yeah, true that, but really depressing.
I mean, we're not even talking about the Sangakaras, the Mahilas, the Murlis. 7 years ago, Sri Lanka almost in with a shout of winning the World Cup in Mumbai.
Nah.
They won
that
a
was their
T20.
second consecutive final.
Yes, they won a World T20 after that. I think they'd made 4 World Finals. 2007, 2011 and a World T20, and then they won a World T20. How does a team go down that fast? I mean, this is not Sri Lanka.
No, it's not. And we mentioned it in that mid-show, or the pre-show, sorry. I think just the price they're paying because of the not bringing some of that young talent through and nurturing it while they had such a good side. And those are the teams and the things that you do that create the momentum continuing when some of those senior players leave. When all those senior players decided to go, or they got older, that was it. There was no one that was established at 23, 24 years old that was coming through and doing the business, and they didn't persevere with any of those guys anyway. So, you know, maybe it's part of the structure of I hear Russell Arnold talking about the structure of domestic cricket in Sri Lanka time and time again. Is that strong enough? They've tried to set up 2020 leagues. They've failed. The board have not got in behind them properly. They're trying to do another one now. Whether that'll get off the ground or not, I don't know. There's just something wrong in that country at the moment that is not producing quality cricketers.
And yet the country has come out of strife. And if you seek a correlation, financially, economically, this country is booming. Colombo's looking beautiful.
Yeah.
You'd imagine the same vigor and zeal would come into the running of Sri Lankan cricket. But that's not happening. I mean, Afghanistan walked over Sri Lanka today. And Afghanistan controlled the game right from the beginning, from their opening partnership. They controlled the game from Ehsanullah Jannat, who made 45, and Mohammad Shehzad, who also made about 30-odd runs. They controlled the game right from there. I thought Rahmat Shah really held those middle overs together. They got that partnership going with Hashmatullah Shahidi. And 249, they got little cameos at the end. And Sri Lanka were never really in it.
No, the sad thing is to see the way, say, somebody like one Matthews not promoting himself, staying where he was, then coming out, and that shot was just the shot, the way he played it, the timing at which he played it, then the 2 runouts before that, they were just so depressing. It was not a team that was looking to compete, and that's not what you expect. The only silver lining I'll have to say about this is, I hope this is such a bad defeat. I mean, to lose to 2 countries by more than 100 runs, almost 100 runs.
50 over game. That is a technical knockout.
It's a technical knockout for a country that's been an associate nation, and you know. So I hope this is bad enough for somebody to say, okay, enough is enough. The system has to change. Okay. Because sometimes you need that kind of shock.
Okay. Maybe you're just being unfair to Afghanistan by not talking about them because they made the wind in there.
Oh.
And I mean, 2 decent new ball bowlers, 3 quality spinners, and some reliable middle order batsmen.
Yeah, I thought they were very good, and we said that they go into this game maybe just slight favourites with the way Sri Lanka had played. They batted very well. They took the initiative. They won the toss. They batted first. Decided that 240, 250 was going to be enough. They didn't try and push for 300, so they chased. They set their tempo very well with the bat. I thought spinners were brilliant. We had 6 for 88 from 26 and a half overs for the spinners. From Afghanistan, so they were brilliant. I thought opening the bowling with Mujib, it gave them options. They bowled Nabi, and I must say, I thought the skipper Ashgar, I thought he captained very well today. He did a good job of the field, rotated his bowlers nicely. When you look through those bowling figures, what you thought might be a tough job for the seamers, Alam and Naib, they bowled very well and tidily, and Naib with those 2 wickets at the end.
How does it feel? How does it feel as a former new ball bowler who loved that red cherry, swung the ball around? How does it feel to see someone bowling an in-swinger at under 100 kilometers an hour and getting a wicket in the first over.
Yeah, not good, but a great initiative though, because that's exactly right. It was almost like, you remember him, but almost like a Chris Harris little in-swing.
Dibbly-dobblies of 92.
I'll tell you what, but even 20k slower than Chris Harris, if that is possible at all.
It was, but I thought he was good. I mean, you know, for a young man like that, he's obviously learnt through the IPL, Joy, and we mentioned in the green room, his fielding has got a lot better. I think his cricket in general, he's just got to work on that reverse sweep.
I was about to tell you that. The one area
But
of
that's
his game.
true, Chatspa.
Yeah.
You know, trying a reverse sweep of a fast bowler in the first ball you're facing, missing it.
Yeah.
Trying again. That's a winner.
That's a
Yeah, he might say, "I'm Kabuli wala hai."
Yeah.
You know, I will not miss it again. But
you
that's
know-
the only thing he's got to improve.
You know what he reminds me of? In the 1980s, there was a German student called Matthias Rust. Okay,
Matthias Rust,
who got onto a biplane and he flew across the border, across the Soviet border, and he landed a plane in Red Square. The problem was his plane was so slow that the Russian radar couldn't pick it up, because when they were trying to catch him, all the cars on the highway were actually moving faster than that. So they couldn't catch him. He landed in the middle of Red Square.
How did the plane stay up if it was going so
No,
slow?
so
Is it
yeah, you can stay
okay,
up at
well, it's a
110,
glider, I
120.
suppose.
Yeah, no.
okay.
It was a biplane. So 120, he
Joy,
goes and lands
Joy,
in the middle
why
of
do you
Russia.
know these stories?
No, but think about
Why
it.
do you
His
know
bowling is just like that. It's just so slow that
I mean,
you...
that in-swinger, frame by frame, we go.
Exactly. You could have a cup of tea.
Matthias
and finish.
Rust.
Yep,
Matthias Rust. I'll
Who
never
would
forget
ever,
that.
Who would ever have drawn a comparison between Matthias Rust and Mujibur Rahman Zadran? But we managed to do that on Cricbuzz Live. I also like their strategy of holding Rashid Khan back.
Absolutely.
Because his best chance is when they're going after him.
Yeah.
So the earlier bowlers clock the run rate, and Rashid is there to exploit that situation.
Well, the earlier bowlers did a great job, because what Sri Lanka would like to have done was to get Rashid on early. They want him bowling with that newer ball so that it skids a little bit, doesn't hold up, doesn't turn, and they can work him around a little bit easier. But the brilliance of the new ball bowlers, you know, I know one of them was a spinner, but they still bowled with the new ball. And so the job that they did up front, and then Nabi with the left-armers, the left-handers in as well, they were allowed to hold Rashid back. We talked about that in the 15th over on the Cricbuzz Combox, and just allowing him to stay back so that he had 3 and 4 overs left. Into the 40th over, he had 3 and 4 overs left. That was brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, Afghanistan went earlier this year to Ireland. Now, typically when Afghanistan play Ireland, when they play anywhere outside the British Isles, Afghanistan used to get beaten. When Ireland travelled, or the other way around, when Ireland travelled, they lost. When Afghanistan travelled.
Yeah.
Now Afghanistan have gone to Ireland and beaten them there. So it's just showing they're on their way up. I thought Rahmat Shah's batting symbolised that for me, because it was a very mature innings. You know, he made 72. He realised this is a 240, 250 game. So Rahmat Shah was excellent.
No, at no point also, if you notice how they batted, at no point did they say we're going to try and get 300. They batted the way when they slowly trying to build their way up, and they made their way there. And I think that's really important, that you actually understand. There are people out there in that camp who understand that, okay, you don't need to rush it. One of the standard problems with T20 teams trying to become ODI teams is you try and rush it. You don't think you have enough time, and you always do. They had that maturity, and that's a threatening sign for every other team, because I don't think Afghanistan is done. This doesn't look to be their only victory in this tournament.
I thought at one point.
Sorry, Harsha, a little word for Phil Simmons as well, I think. When you looked at Ireland, he was with Ireland for a while, wasn't he? Coached them very, very well. Got them, you know, they were beating international teams, winning games. Obviously now with Afghanistan, he's doing a great job.
I thought he did a good job in between with the West Indies before they thought he was too nice for them, too good for them.
Correct.
Exactly.
A very, very calm coach, and you know, very diligent the way he goes about things. He gets the right people around him as well to help, and I think he's doing a terrific job with the side, and he's got some good characters in amongst that side, but he seems to be doing a very good job. Wherever he's been, he's actually had success. So one of the unassuming coaches, I think, around at the moment.
You did see him bat.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you'd say such a calm personality?
No, not at all.
Phil Simmons, my God.
He hit the ball for.
Yeah,
God.
I mean, he was a terrifically talented all-rounder. He bowled with good...
Yeah, he bowled all right. Such a big man. So
yeah,
he'd be
for a big
sort of
man.
medium pace.
But a lovely, lovely guy as well. And, you know, pleased to see him doing well.
There's just one other thing before we move on to tomorrow's game. We've now seen 3 games. This is looking like a 250, 260 tournament, isn't it? It's getting slower and slower for the team batting second. I mean, there's lots of people out there saying you must only bat second, you must only chase in one-day internationals. No, this is a bat first tournament. So I'm starting to think if the toss will get more and more important as the tracks start to slow down.
Yep. And they're going to get slower. They are going to get slower.
So Indian fans were saying, thank God Virat Kohli is not calling.
That's a very fair point. Very, very fair point.
Okay, we've got a points table as well, because there's one team on its way out, and it's a team that's not going to want to look at this points table. We've got the qualifiers, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. Sri Lanka are gone. They play off against each other, but that doesn't contribute to anything for the rest of the tournament, because both teams qualify. You don't carry your points with you. And every team plays every other team in the Super Fours or whatever it's called, the Super League. So it doesn't really matter from now on. These 2 teams are gone. They're in there. Now there's India versus Hong Kong. What would your strategy be for India versus Hong Kong?
All the batsmen that I want to play against Pakistan
Would play.
Yes. If I'm looking after this Indian side at the moment, my top 6 that I want to play against Pakistan and I want to move forward in the tournament, they play tomorrow. Bowling point of view, I know Bumrah did a lot of work in England in the test matches. Maybe he still needs another day off. He's going to be a key component against Pakistan in the back end of the tournament. So maybe he can get one game off. But barring that, I'm playing my front 6. So Rohit and Shikhar.
KL Rahul
at 3. I'm batting MS Dhoni at 4.
Yes.
Which I'd like to see. Kuldeep Yadav at 5, and I would go with...
Kuldeep? No.
Sorry.
There's a Kedar Jadhav.
So Kedar Jadhav at 5. He's my part-time bowler as well. And I'd probably play Ambati Raidu.
At 6?
At 6.
Okay.
Just because I think he plays the spin very well. I think he can control and bat with the tail nicely. And then it's fairly simple from down on there. I'd probably just bring Shardul Thakur in for Jasprit Bumrah. Play Kumar.
It might be interesting as well.
And the 2 leg spinners.
It might be interesting as well. I mean, I know Shardul Thakur spent a lot of time in England without getting a game. But they've got Khalil Ahmed in that team.
I would give him a shout.
And he's left-handed. We don't get so many left-hand bowlers in India. He's just played 2 first-class games, but he's got a very good limited overs record. And they say he's got a bit of nip around him.
He's got time. Zahir couldn't stop talking about him. And he saw him intimately because he was there at the Delhi Daredevils.
Yes.
And he thinks pretty highly of him. Even Dav Watmore down in Kerala, he thinks he's a pretty decent
throw him
prospect.
in.
I'd say why, if you're not playing Bumrah, give Bumrah a rest, throw him in. I though would also, the interesting thing would be Kedar Yadav, to see how much he can bowl. I'd stay at this point in time, I'd go with Manish Pandey over Raidu, but I mean, it's one.
So Manish Pandey at 4, Dhoni at 5, Kedar Jadhav at 6.
Kedar Yadav at 6.
I think if Dhoni says, I don't want to bat at 4, then maybe Manish Pandey is a better bet at 4.
Yeah.
But tell me, if you are Ambati Raidu, can you look Raidu in the face and say, give me more? Because he's done everything that's been asked of him.
I mean, you look at his record. His one-day international record
above
is
50.
Phenomenal. Averages above 50. And every time he's done the job for India, basically every time he's been asked to do something. And he's had a cracking IPL. I think he deserves an opportunity. Now, will he get it? I don't know. But I think he deserves an opportunity.
And he's got through the yo-yo test as well. That famous yo-yo test.
If Dinesh Karthik wasn't a keeper, would you have picked him in the side as a batsman? Because his list A performances over the last 2 years have been awesome. He had a pretty good IPL. He's done all right. So I think he stakes a claim to be in the side as a batsman.
As a batsman alone.
If you're looking at number 4, maybe you're looking at Manish Pandey. If you're looking at number 6, maybe you're looking at Ambati Raidu. But I agree entirely with Dooley that the top 6 that we see taking the field against Hong Kong will be the top 6 that take the team field against Pakistan.
Also, that this batting unit will be tested. This is one of the finest. This Pakistani bowling attack is a serious bowling attack. They're going to be tested. So the other thing will be, again, this is not a ground where you're saying 320, 330. This could be a place where you need to bat, maybe see it a bit more, 250, 260. I'm even saying somebody like a Rahul may have to sort of rein in his natural, let me go after the bowling in a limited over match and just play it a bit more. I don't think it's going to be that kind of a pitch where you just go there and 340 is par.
The one thing is, the moment the games become 230, 240 games, then Dhoni's roles get stronger and stronger. The moment you get into 300 plus games, then Dhoni's recent inability to force the issue starts to become work against you. But 240 games, he's a master of of managing the situation. So actually, it might benefit India if the tournament becomes a 240, 250 tournament.
Yeah, it may do, and I think the other side of that though is they want to win this tournament in India. I'm sure that's the first and foremost thing. But moving forward and looking to England, they are now 330, 340 wickets.
Yes, absolutely.
So where do you want your players batting, and who do you want in those positions? If you're an Indian team looking forward to the World Cup, coming to New Zealand, our pitches are flat, our grounds are small. There'll be 300 scored every game in New Zealand. I can just about guarantee that as far as the one days are concerned down there. So do you have the power at 5, 6, 7 to finish those games off? Does MS Dhoni still have the power to do that? That was part of my reasoning for him to bat at 4 in the long run. Looking forward to that World Cup.
So get 20 games at number 4?
Yeah.
So you're ready for playing.
So you're ready
to
play that role, because I think what he does brilliantly is, a brilliant runner between the wickets. So he and Kohli will complement each other, batting at 3 and 4. That's the first and foremost thing I'll say. They'll complement each other beautifully, and they're both probably still the two fittest in the side as far as running between the wickets is concerned. He plays spin very, very well. So if the openers get off to a good start through those middle overs, he's going to play the spin really well. I think Kedar Jadava's got a few tricks up his sleeves.
Yes.
You know, he can play the funky shots. I think he can finish an innings off.
He can.
I think Ambati Raidu can probably finish an innings off, if that's the question.
So you've got two options there.
Two options there at 5 and 6. That would be my thinking. And then maybe you've got your Pandya, who can hit it out of the park if required as well at 7. So that would be why I would do it. Now, if they're looking at purely and simply winning this tournament, maybe 5's his spot. Moving forward, I think 4 should be looking forward to that World Cup.
But I was just thinking that the last Indian wicketkeeper to score a century in England was a certain left-hander who in a test match made a lot of bowlers look very ordinary. And the fact that he's not likely to get a look in at all in this
it's like
entire
Josh
scheme of
setting a quiz
things.
question, right? A certain wicketkeeper who played very, he's not in the squad because Karthik has played so well in white ball cricket, and Dhoni till he commands a place in the white ball game. Maybe after 2019, Dhoni will weigh himself. That's my gut feel. But
so there's this great saying in basketball where you had this 7 feet 2 inch basketball player, and the coach, they asked him about should they play him or not, and you say you can't coach height. You don't. That's you can coach. You can't make a 6 foot player a 7 foot 2 inch player. That much of talent Rishabh Pant has, you cannot keep him out of the team. I'm not saying that he needs to necessarily come in place of Dhoni, but he is today, let's face it, the finest striker of the ball in India, bar maybe Virat Kohli. And the fact that he is not a part of our scheme of limited over cricket baffles me.
We have to find a long time in politics. A year is a long time. Well, 8 months is a long time in cricket. You never know. Never know. But just other news, most deservedly so, Rahmat Shah was man of the match in a 200-250 kind of game for someone who made 72, completely deserving. So well done to Rahmat Shah. I thought he just handled everything very well. Right, there you are. It's India versus Hong Kong. We've got in just enough time for the joy factor and for him to explain the googly even better than he explained Matthias Rust.
Okay, here goes. And this actually happened. The only cricketer to score 2 international T20 50s in the same day. In fact, I think it was on the 20th of January last year. It was a Dubai T20 challenge and Afghanistan was playing. They played Oman in the morning. Mohammad Shahzad got 50. And then they played again in the evening. They were playing against Ireland and Shahzad got a 50 again. I think he got 60 odd or something. So he remains the only player. And given the circumstances that 3 matches were played in the same day, I think that's a record that's unlikely to be beaten in history.
Was it hot that day?
I haven't checked up.
I bet he slept well that night. The big man.
I loved. What was Sangakkara's comment about Shahzad, the batsman, and Shahzad, the keeper?
Sangakkara said during the commentary, Kumar Sangakkara said during the commentary that he bats very much, wicket keeps very much like he bats, with a limited amount of movement.
Economy of movement.
Economy of movement. I thought very funny, very good.
To think of Mohammad Shahzad in whatever, even a year back, playing 2 innings in the same day.
For all that he's probably batting fit. He's probably batting fit. He'll probably bat for a long time. So there you are. Who won today? We've got a winner, and the winner is Hari Sadanandan at I'm Harry _88. Well done, Harry Sadanandam. I think that makes you about 30 years old, if I believe the 88 is there for a reason. But that doesn't matter. Hari Sadanandam, you've won that quiz. So wonderful, well done. And I hope that makes you a little more famous in your neighborhood. So there you are. We've had fun. We've had a lot of fun bringing this to you. We even managed to bring in a comparison between Mujib Zadran and Matthias Rust. I'll remember the name for a long time now. So thank you very much to Joy. Simon Doull has this uncanny knack of getting predictions right. He got one more. So if you want to ask him what's going to happen tomorrow, I'll give you his email ID just as we go off air. So thank you very much. Now, tomorrow's an interesting day because the guy
Tomorrow
who
or today?
ran away,
Today.
the ran away with the red table comes back tomorrow, and he is
Today. Harsh.
today.
Yes.
He comes back today. We send the police after him.
And he's not going to be a happy chappy, I promise you that.
No,
He's not going to be
he's
happy.
going to be interrogated. So the red table and the man who purloined the red table. Gaurav is back tomorrow. We'll have a lot of fun with India versus Hong Kong, then India versus Pakistan. There's a bit coming up on the Asia Cup. Remember to stay with Cricbuzz Live.